Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a retro review of Paranormal Activity from 2007. This film is rated R with a runtime of an hour and 26 minutes. Before we get into this film, I was looking for what to do exactly for October because I'm not a big horror person, but I also wanted to bring in some horror related videos into the channel. And my buddies over at They Made Another One podcast, they recently talked about the third film in this franchise, and I thought it was, and that kind of triggered in me like, oh, this would be a fun franchise to revisit. Now, I believe there are 7 films. I know the last one doesn't really connect to the first 6, but over the month of October, on top of some of the other films that I'm just kind of rewatching and to get in the mood for spooky season, as well as some horror comics and things like that. I'll be doing retro reviews for the full series of Paranormal Activity, and trust me, it has been tough. I went into this getting a subscription to Paramount Plus in the last days of September, knowing that all the movies were there, and lo and behold, this morning on October 1st, all the films are gone from Paramount Plus. Like, they're kind of scattered around. There's no one place that has all the Paranormal Activity films anymore. So I just ended up purchasing a bundle of like the digital films. So yeah, so we're in for this ride now. We are full committed to the bit. So yeah, expect sprinklings of Paranormal Activity all throughout the channel throughout the month of October, and leading up to whatever we end up doing on the last weekend of the month to celebrate Halloween. So very excited to get into this. So as of the recording of this video, this movie has an 83% Rotten Tomato score for the critics, 57% for the audience. And then also, I'm gonna start including now the Letterbox average review as well, because I really think that Letterbox is kind of a living. It feels to me a little bit more accurate than some of the Rotten Tomato scores. So Letterbox, it has currently a 2.9 stars, which is very close to the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, really. So let me give you a quick synopsis of this film. Soon after moving into a suburban tract home, Katie and Micah become increasingly disturbed by what appears to be a supernatural presence. Hoping to capture the evidence of it on film, they set up cameras in the house but are not prepared for the terrifying events that follow. This is written and directed by Oren Peli, and it stars Katie Featherston as Katie, Micah Sloat as Micah. I do want to touch real quick on the history of this film. Originally, this was developed as an independent feature and given festival screenings in 2007, which is why that's the date of the release of the film. This film was shot for about $15,000. It was later on acquired by Paramount Pictures, and then modified it to change the ending to kind of make it an actual franchise. The original ending does not really allow for these films to continue. Now, all these alterations and modifications by Paramount cost an additional 200K, which is insane to me. Like, how big a difference an independent film, and this must include, it has to include like marketing and all this stuff afterwards. There's no way. Like, I've seen both endings. There's no way what they altered was only 200K. But either way, this film was later given a limited release in the U.S. on September of 2009, and then a nationwide release on October of 2009, which is probably when I originally watched the film. I definitely know that I didn't catch it on the independent circuits, although I do remember that we later on looked for those alternate endings online and stuff like that. So that was really really fun. Like, it was kind of a phenomenon because at the time, uh, this film was so well done in the way that it looked very real, as far as like it looked like people were really just kind of shot this together at their home. Like, the technology, they weren't using these advanced cameras. There's some stuff like, so the selling point and the marketing on this film was that, oh, this is something that really happened. We're just kind of showing it to you, and it was a big thing. Like, I remember seeing there was a whole thing about reactions and the screenings of like how scary this movie was, because people really thought this stuff was happening. And the bundle I bought comes with a documentary, so I'll also be checking that out and maybe making a video on some of the more um, fun elements of the franchise and some of the fun facts. So, but let's talk about this film itself. So obviously, Katie and Micah are two characters that they just feel very real. I think we feel really bad for Katie, and I think Katie does a really good job at making sure that her character is likable, relatable, and also yet like you kind of feel bad for everything that's going on. Micah is a little bit of an obtuse guy when it comes to like taking some of this stuff seriously, but the portrayal like really feels like he cares for Kitty. He cares about what's happening. I really love the pacing of the film. It starts almost as like it almost feels like water damage in your house where you notice like a little drip like very slowly, and then like you look away and then you come back and it's like this big thing, like by then it's kind of too late. Like the film is very much like that, where very little things start happening. Like it's really fun to see some of that old technology kind of being set up all over the place, and a giant camera, and then even that camera has like when you take a when you turn on the camera on your phone and it flashes the thing, like just that big glare that you get, it has the same thing because this was an old camera like that. So like all those little things made it feel more authentic, which was fun, right? It's not super polished. It's not like it's not edited to bits. And then also the fact that they would go in and then within the film itself watch the footage, and it sometimes it's a little bit frustrating because you're like, I want to see more, but you only have this one still shot because the camera's on a tripod. So yeah, all those little things, they really add a lot to the film. So once things escalate from the halfway point, there's a few characters that kind of come in and out, but really we just really live with Micah and Kitty in this film, and you just kind of start sinking. And the way that this film builds tension by just setting up this still shot, and they're there, you can see them. It's a little bit of like, it's very intrusive, right? Because you're intruding in their lives, but only because you want to see what's happening to them. I also really like the addition of like time, like how the time is passing. You get to see in the video like night number 1, night number 5, night number 18. So like you can tell that they've been living with this for a little while, and it's getting really bad. And yeah, things just kind of escalate to shit. And like I said, I've seen both of the endings. I understand why they changed it because they wanted to do more of these films. I think the original ending feels a little bit more jarring because it feels like it'd be more realistic, whereas the ending from the film, the theatrical cut, I guess, if you will, that one feels a little bit more Hollywood for sure. So yeah, I think just the fact that they managed to do all this on such a small budget and just kind of create this massive franchise. I believe this is like in one of those films like the most profitable films ever or whatever, like as far as how much it cost. I'm sure after the modifications and all the money that Paramount spent getting the franchise and all that stuff, maybe if you do some funky movie accounting, is not as profitable. But I think just like pound for pound, like it's one of those, it's up there with how much money not only the movie itself did, but the franchise that it developed. And I think I believe we're supposed to get one more, if I'm not mistaken. So, but obviously not connected to what it seems to be this. So, yeah, I think overall really enjoyed this film. I'm looking forward to the trip because I know that the movies, I feel like some of them get better, some of them get worse. There's one I haven't seen at all. Um, and there's some that I haven't seen in a very long time, so it'll be fun to rewatch those. But yeah, let me know if you're ready to go on this journey. Let me know what your history is with the Paranormal Activity franchise. Follow me on Letterboxd. I'll drop it in the description of the video, so you can kind of keep track of the journey itself as well. And yeah, stay tuned because we have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.